Sanjeet Singh is a seasoned senior advisor at NITI Aayog, specializing in trade and commerce, economic and finance policy, and international strategic cooperation, including G20 engagements, and Indian Revenue Services Officer since 1991. He brings deep expertise in trade policy formulation and implementation, particularly in special economic zones and East Asia regional cooperation. His notable tenure includes shaping India's flagship rural roads program, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, enhancing connectivity for over 178,000 villages nationwide with advanced academic credentials from St. Stephen's and École Nationale Administration in Paris, coupled with experience across income tax, commerce, rural development, and telecom regulation. Mr. Singh stands as a visionary leader driving India's economy, policy making, and global partnerships. Sanjeet ji, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Rajiv. Thank you so much for making me feel so cold by reading out such a long list of stuff which you think I've done. So, Raman, see that a lot of effort has gone into it. You mentioned 17 chapters. Honestly, I did not read the 17 chapters. But what I've actually done is been able to go in for a couple of important areas which I would like to highlight with your permission. And I'm sure when I will share them, we will all find that there is a lot of business opportunity for each person here and more. In fact, honestly, when I was reviewing the recommendations of the EBG's report, which one was kind enough to give me a sneak peek, it looked like my daughter's wish list. They were long, ambitious, and filled with requests for more technology and less paperwork. So, but fortunately, unlike my daughters, most of her wishes, they haven't seen much of a chance of coming true, but I'm sure this excellent report has got a very strong chance of being delivered. So let's jump right in. So, India and Europe are just more than just old friends. We are in fact, we'll have to say, co-authors of an economic story. And the last year alone, European companies have invested about $153 billion in India and generated billions of jobs, confirming that our business relationship is not just strong, but absolutely essential and growth on both sides. So we have a strong trade relationship, in fact, with European Union, and it is our largest trading partner, over $136 billion. And I can assure you that concluding the India-EU FTA is not just a rumor. It is a reality in the making, and that will definitely open new pathways for prosperity for both the regions. On the issue of ease of doing business, India is making doing business smoother than ever, and I can hear a lot of groans saying that where do we see it? But believe me, a lot of back-breaking effort is going on. I am lucky that I could be here at the persuasion of Mr. Raman. Otherwise, we have really all-nighters happening at my office at NITI Aayog, which is leading the high-level committees on reforms. And every week there is a presentation. So there is a lot of work, serious work, which is going into pushing for single window digital portals. Why it can't be done? So everybody, all the ministries, have to really answer why they cannot make their processes simpler. So approvals and compliances are actually meant to be a very simple process. So the questions being asked to the various ministries, and we on behalf of the PM are asking these questions, why are you not able to do it? And then wherever any ministry falters, we step in and say, this is how we do it. And the happy part is, there are a very strong contingent from the private sector, represented not just by the FICCI and CII and the Big Four. There are a lot of people from the private sector who are participating in these discussions. We have a number of delegations which visit us regularly, and those engagements are really producing very good results. One example, of course, those reports are not public, but the effects are public. So a lot of people speak about the various QCOs which have suddenly been scrapped. That was one of the very immediate impacts which got happening. There has been also a focus on decriminalization. So why offences should be retained in the statute books. So as many as 180 outdated laws have been scrapped in 2023, and the Bill 2.0 is taking it further by replacing various jail terms with civil penalties, making compliances less scary, I'm sure. Plus, the new Income Tax Act 2025 simplifies everything, and with targeted PLI schemes and easier FDI norms, India's business climate is more open, innovative, and welcoming than ever. Ramanji mentioned about sustainability. Now, sustainability is India's new growth engine. With $18 billion earmarked for green energy, and the green hydrogen emissions budget has been doubled, India is on track to produce 5 million metric tons of green hydrogen by 2030. And this is enough to replace about $12 billion in fossil fuel imports annually. So these are big moves like sovereign green bonds, rooftop solar boosts, and fresh battery tariffs. These are all turbocharging India's net zero journey by 2070. And here I would like to, in fact, also mention that the pathways to net zero will soon be announced before the end of the year. And that again is hosted at NITI Aayog. A good friend and colleague of ours, mine and Deepak's, is participating in that, and they are also working very hard to really put down a very clear pathways. And as soon as the pathway is made public, you will see that there are a number of business opportunities, both for Indian and European companies, to come together to really take advantage of this. Because Europe has a lot of strengths in clean tech. So we would really have a look at that. Similarly, there is a strong push for nuclear energy. India has declared that we are going to be going for 100 gigawatts of nuclear energy in the next 10 to 12 years. Again, a massive opportunity for a large number of companies to really step in and come and participate in the supply chains, in the entire process. There is much to be gained. Talking about the digital transformation, so India's digital surge is nothing short of a blockbuster, like typical filmy movie, Hindi movies. It's bold, it's massive, and it reaches every corner. With over 944 million broadband connections and internet access, which hits nearly 70%, India is one of the fastest growing digital economies globally. Last year, about 1,800 global capability centers churned out about $390 billion in service exports. They are powering startups and leaderships on the world stage. Many of you must have heard about the strong push to fintechs. We had a very global fintech festival with Honorable Prime Minister. I had participated in it in Mumbai. There's a very strong thrust how we can really fire up and become global leaders in fintechs. And here, Europe and India and companies, both these countries can really partner to really gain. Another area you can look at is data centers. We have already large companies who have shown interest. In fact, the day before yesterday, I was at a conference where they asked me to speak on data centers. And we had Amazon warehousing services, you got Google already announcing it, and then large number of Indian companies are also riding this very fast moving train. So I invite many of the European companies who are somehow linked to this to come forward and really use this. India is coming out with a very clear data center policy which will really facilitate this whole process. So big government moves like AI research funding, BharatNet fiber rollout, and digital education hubs are igniting entrepreneurships from cities to villages. A few universities from the UK and from other parts of Europe are opening up their offices in India. So there is a huge growth opportunity even there. And lastly, I would like to touch upon what has been mentioned in the report, which is about sectoral reforms and growth. So India's growth engine is actually firing on all cylinders, and I'd like to mention that we have been having a sustained growth of 6 to 8%, or rather 6.8% to 8% over the past many years now. Here I would like to share something which will probably touch a positive chord, that is democracy. Many people undermine the importance of this very. India has been a stable democracy for the past 78 years. And if you look at the recent track record, for the past 30 years, 3 decades, we've had governments which have lasted their full 5-year terms, whether it's a single party or a coalition government. Similarly, in states, there has been stability, and that is really pushing this drive of investments to come into many states. At NITI Aayog, we always talk about cooperative federalism, but at the same time, competitive federalism. So we say our UP has to compete with Tamil Nadu, and similarly, Tamil Nadu has to compete with Maharashtra. In data centers, 50% are in Maharashtra. Now, other states want to grab the pie. So they are really projecting that, look, we have a stable polity, we have an efficient administration, we have land, we have water, we have electricity. So please demand, as entrepreneurs, as business people, please do demand this from the government, demand this from the state governments, and it is there. So if you just look at about a record 6.5 lakh crore, which is about $32 billion, which have been pumped into modernizing Indian railways, and a 14% jump in auto exports, it's clear that we are not just cruising, we are really accelerating it now. Landmark allocations of 11.2 lakh crore, which is about $135 billion for infrastructure in FY 25-26, means smoother roads, better rails and logistics that work. I was listening to Ramanji and I was asking about whether UK is a partner in EBG. So he said yes. So we just recently concluded year 1 of the UK-India International Financing Bridge, of which I am the convener. So in that, we have identified so many opportunities for European companies to come and participate, not only in just building roads, but investors to come and invest in stable, long-term returns. 30,000 kilometers of Indian roads, brownfield projects are going to be available in the next couple of months. The list is going to be out. You can look at them, encourage the large investors to actually come and participate in these projects to really have a very meaningful relationship with India's infrastructure sector. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to end by saying that as we celebrate the launch of this paper, let's remember that India-European alliance is a story of big numbers, big ideas, and even bigger dreams. If these recommendations are carried forward, the ease of doing business will not just be a slogan, it will be our daily reality. Thank you very much, and may we all have a promising year ahead, just like these recommendations. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sanjeet ji. I think he mentioned that our list of asks has increased. If this year instead of 6, 10 of our recommendations go through, probably the list will become longer. But otherwise, we have always maintained that we should only ask for things that are doable, and we actually do not do something which is a laundry list. And I think what has emboldened us probably is the sensitivity of the bureaucracy over the last decade or so, where they are actually listening. They are always sensitive, and they wish to make the changes that are required to be made. So thanks a ton to all of you. I think we should have a big round of applause for all of them. And NITI Aayog has always been a very patient listener for all of us. We've had several discussions at NITI Aayog which were not pertaining to specific ministries, but we wanted certain things that should happen. We went to NITI Aayog, and I think they have taken ahead the process with the concerned ministries. So thank you so much, Sanjeet. To felicitate Sanjeet Singh ji, we have with us Mr. Bhaskar Sharma, former CEO of Red Bull and board member of EBG, and Vinod Bapna, Chief Executive Officer, Caparo Engineering. Do we have Vinod Bapna here? No. So we have Manish Bawa of from Nagia, Anderson, India.